Today, there are approximately 113,000 people waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. Almost 17,000 of those people are in need of a liver. Not many people know the specifics of an organ donation. I didn't know much about it until last year when my uncle was put on the waiting list for a new liver. The purpose of my speech is to inform you of the importance of the liver, what happens when it is not functioning properly, and the process of a liver transplant. To begin with, the liver is a very important organ that we cannot live without. According to Informed Health Online, the human adult liver weighs about 1.4 kilograms, and it is found in the right upper abdomen below the diaphragm. It takes up most of the space under the ribs and some space in the upper left abdomen too. The liver is actually made up of two lobes that are separated by connective tissue that keep it anchored to the abdominal cavity. The small organ that stores bile, is also known as the gallbladder, is located on the underside of the liver, and it helps the liver carry out some of its metabolic functions. According to Informed Health Online, it converts the nutrients in our diets into substances that the body can use, stores these substances, and supplies cells with them when needed. It also takes up toxic materials and converts them into harmless materials or makes sure they are released from the body. Basically, the liver is our body's filter, so what happens when this filter is not working properly? This brings me to my next main point of when and why a liver transplant is needed. According to Mayo Clinic, a liver transplant is a treatment option for people with liver failure whose condition cannot be controlled with other treatments, and for some people with liver cancer. Liver failure can occur quickly or over a longer period of time. Liver failure that happens fast or in a matter of weeks is known as acute liver failure. This usually is a result of medication-induced liver injury, but not always the case. Liver transplants are more often used to treat those with chronic liver failure, which occurs slowly over months and years. According to Mayo Clinic, the most common cause of chronic liver failure is scarring of the liver or cirrhosis, a process in which scar tissue replaces normal liver tissue and impairs liver function. Some causes of cirrhosis of the liver include hepatitis B and C, alcoholic liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, genetic diseases, and other diseases that affect the bile duct, such as biliary atresia, which is the most common reason for liver transplants in children. The organ transplant process can be long and hard, but healthcare providers have made some systems and procedures to make it easier. This brings me to my last main point, the description of the process of a liver transplant. The process begins with your doctor deciding that a transplant is the best treatment option and referring you to a transplant center, or you choosing one on your own. Once you have chosen a transplant center, they will then provide you with a transplant team that will evaluate you to determine if you meet the center's eligibility requirements for a liver transplant. If you meet their requirements, your name will then be placed on the National Transplant Waiting List. According to Columbia Surgery, the Center for Liver Disease and Transplantation, the list is managed by the United Network for Organ Sharing, also known as UNOS, which collects and manages all data that pertain to the patient waiting list, organ donation, and matching and transplantation occurring on the OPTN, the National Organ Transplant Network. To determine where you are at on the list, UNOS has developed a system known as the Model for End-Stage Liver Disease. Patients with the higher score are the sickest, and they get priority over the donated organs. According to Columbia Surgery, the MELD system involves a numerical scale ranging from 6, the less ill, to 40, gravely ill, used for liver transplant candidates ages 12 and older. It gives each person a score or number based on how urgently he or she needs a liver within the next 3 months. The number is determined by a formula using 3 routine lab tests: bilirubin, INR, and creatine. Some people wait days for a liver, while others wait months. Some may never even receive a donor liver. As you wait for a liver, your team will do everything they can to treat the complications of liver failure and make you comfortable. If your liver deteriorates, your MELD score is updated and you may move up on the waiting list. In conclusion, the liver is a very important organ when it is severely damaged or diseased is when someone may need a transplant, and the process of organ donation can be long and complicated. There are close to 17,000 people waiting for a liver. I didn't think I would have to know the specifics of liver transplant, but you or someone you know could be a part of these statistics waiting for an organ.